I still remember that sensation. The paper in my hand. It was simple, but powerful. It says, "Welcome to Bowdoin 2029." But what I heard was, "You belong here." At the same time, something was happening just at the back of my mind. The voice of my mother saying, "No tenemos plata ni para comer." We don't have money even for food. And that was right. So for the first time in my entire life, I had two positions. In one hand, I had the paper that says that I belong to an elite college in the US, the world of opportunities, dreams, possibilities. And on the other hand was my family, my people, everything that I know, and our issues, our crises. I don't know which of these two worlds where I was part of. And then I start to reflect. What is successful looks like for me? What is innovation? How does that look like? It looks like labs, Silicon Valley, Google, Meta, or it looks different. It looks like that little boy in South America trying to learn English with a broken phone at 3 a.m. It looks like that little girl in South Asia trying to fix their own computer by her own. Then is what I realized, that innovation is actually a privilege. Privilege of resources, privilege of people that we know, privilege of have a good education, for example. But even though, how does innovation look like? Again, how does people who's actually innovative look like? They have certain skin color, come from certain places, speak certain languages. And even though never one of these looks like my people, my home, my friends, or my family, then I realize again, innovation is actually a permission slip. Because who decides how successful, how innovation looks like? Who decides what people deserves or not these opportunities? Actually, where I come from, this rural village in Ecuador called Yaruquí, we didn't have a lot of these opportunities. Actually, both of my best friends come to me when I was 14 years old with an idea, amazing idea. They start an NGO. They try to create the opportunities that we didn't have back in our communities. This initiative was called Asociación Latinoamericana Ímpetu, Latin American Association Impetus in English. And so far, we impacted plus 14,000 people across 13 countries in the whole Latin American region. And I am most than proud of that. Not because the number, but because the faces, the people that represent, the dreams of the children, of the youth people who actually have an opportunity to innovate. We give workshops, webinars, different kind of projects, but the one that I am the most proud of it is Alberto's example. Look, Alberto was a 12-year-old kid from Guabani, a rural village in Ecuador at the south of the capital. He was really, really shy, never speak at all, and he was always sit just at the back of the room. We had a 2-week workshop, and he never speak, never said not even a word, but he was there. So at least he was interested, I guess. And just the last day, we were having a trouble because the main idea of this workshop was trying to create a sustainable project for local communities. The main topic was environmental sustainability. That was perfect. We will talk with some people in the community, whatever, fine. But what with the children? How we can engage them? And then is when Alberto said, what if we create a game, a detective game, and give these children different roles? And the hint will be actual information about how to recycle. And that was brilliant. But the whole room was shocked, just in silence. Because for the first time, we heard Alberto's voice. And his idea was amazing. At the end of the day, Alberto was the one who presented the metric and the whole project to the whole community. At the end of the presentation, I told Alberto, yo, what's happened? For what reason you never speak that? And he said something that I will never forget. He said, I always have these ideas, but I never feel that I belong to that world. What world? The world of the people with success. The world of the lucky people. And actually, I was kind of lucky because last semester, I had the opportunity to go to Oxford University in order to research artificial intelligence into educational fields. The experience was amazing, yes, but even though when I was just walking around these ancient buildings and talking with one of the most intelligent and brilliant people that I ever know, I saw something really curious and interesting. Everyone back in England, back in Oxford, was using AI to their daily lives. AI to write poems, AI to write essays, emails, you mentioned it. But it was there, even for the most intelligent people in one of the best universities in the world. Curious, right? But I was thinking, this doesn't happen back home. Actually, back home, we have luck. We have a really stable Wi-Fi for 1 hour. But then I was thinking, what with my community? What with my village? We don't have that. But what if we have the opportunity for the first time? How we can make more accessible these new technologies, these new ideas to local communities, to rural communities, to the global south. And then is how, with my team, researchers of Oxford, decide to create Koan AI. Koan is a learning management system, something like Canvas, but with AI integrated. How this is helpful? First, for teachers. It creates specific strategies focused on each one of your students at the moment to understand what they actually need in their class and what kind of artifacts or what kind of tools you can bring to the class. And for students, help to understand the specific concepts, digest them very specifically for your own necessities. Doesn't make the work for you, but help you to understand it. We have a specific Socratic method, which means that you will receive specific questions, very basic questions, and you answer them. At the end of the day, you will have your homework done, but you will understand the whole process. And this just brings me to the beginning. Which world do I belong to? Opportunities, family, my roots, alive in the US? How does innovation look like? What if I can be a bridge? What if I can be part of both? What if innovation starts with a personal decision? But not only that, we need to understand the holistic panorama. Because yes, innovation could start with me, but I am not my whole community. I am not the whole society. Innovation begins when we start to think as a whole society, when we start to think more empathetically, when we start to consider our own privilege. We have family, we have different kind of resources, we have friends, we have money, we have good education, we have contacts. But what happened with that kid learning in the broken phone? What happened with the girl in South Asia fixing her own computer? What happened with the community, rural community here in Maine that are solving problems that we never face of? Innovation begins with empathy, begins with resilience, with kind, with love. Innovation begins where you don't belong. My name is Mateo Morales. Thank you so much.